Alright guys, so today we are going to do the 180. We talked a little bit about the end result, taking a look at a few of these images that are on the board, what our end result will be like. So if my client comes to the salon and say, hey, I want to change, I want to change, I want to change, but guess what? I want to do it with my cut, but I don't want to lose my length. Okay, we've had this conversation. I'm going to maintain the length, but they want a little bit more volume, a little bit more layering happening in their hair for a little bit for better style. So let's imagine, how am I going to do this cut? This cut is going to take what we call, is going to start off with an interior guide. The reason is because the change is happening on the inside of the hair versus that perimeter, versus the outside. Our blunt cut, we had a change, a perimeter change on the outside, and then we're going to have a change on the inside. Now, how do I determine how I'm going to do this cut for this client? This client comes in and shows me a picture. I take a look at the picture, and I see that the shortest length is dropping towards the chin. Well, I see that the length is dropping towards her chin area, okay? Right in here. That's my gauge to know the shortest length, okay? And then we know that we're going to keep the rest of her length. So this is how I'm going to determine where this shortest piece is falling. I'm going to take the front section right here, and this is going to determine how short this is going to be, okay? So I look at this strand here. This is going to drop down to her chin. That's going to tell me, one, how short the inside will need to be. And then I want to double check on the outside to make sure that this length does not go past the length that I need to cut on the inside. Does that make sense? So this length right here, I want to, normally, I can either A, bring this bottom hair up, all the way up until it reaches to where it's going to reach at. And I could A, maybe my client doesn't have a picture, but I know that I'm going to do layers. And I could take a lot off based off how much I'm not going to cut here. I'm not going to do that today. Today I'm going to base it off of where I want this to fall. Okay? Where I want it to fall at. But you want to make sure that this hair does not go past where I'm going to cut. I don't want to have to cut this hair because this is going to be my guide. So when I bring this up, you see how it doesn't reach? That's what I want. I'm only taking off about this much right here. But when I bring this up, this cannot reach to where I'm going to cut. If it goes past it, then I got to change something in here. Okay? I need to pull it up a little bit more. I can't cut off as much, or I'm going to really start cutting into my client's guide. And this is not going to be the cut that I need to do. Does that make sense? Okay. Now for you guys, this is not going to reach up. Y'all are going to take off about 4 inches. This part is not going to reach up here. Okay. If you guys take off 2 inches, you're only going to cut about from here to here on this cut. You're not going to be able to do anything else. It's just you're going to be pulling up hair. So we need enough hair so that as you guys are cutting, you actually can see the benefits of the cut. Okay. So that's why I'm having you take that much off. So for me, my client hair, we're going to take off about right here, where it falls there. So I'm going to take off about, I guess about 3 or 4 inches. That's it. Okay, so I got my little finger here. Now I'm going to take this, and I am going to, let me just give me a different measure. I'm guessing. So I'm going to leave my client's hair at 6 inches basically. Okay, I'm going to cut my client's hair down to 6 inches. So this first area right here, I just went and observed on my comb how much I'm going to take off. And instead of my guide being right down here at the bottom, it's going to be this section right here. And this section we're going to cut in what we call 90 degrees. We're going to cut this one section right here straight from where the hair is growing, and we're going to travel all the way back from here to there at a 90-degree angle. Okay? Her head dips right here, so I'm kind of going to dip with that a little bit. Now, a lot of different things happen here. Some people for the 180 bring it straight up, okay? I am going to follow the curve, okay? I'm going to follow the curve, and so will you guys for this cut. So this is a true 90. Some people, like I said, will bring this back. Some people will bring the whole thing over. We're going to keep it simple and just do a true 90 from front hairline to our...
What will it do if you bring it back?
If I bring it back, it's going to keep this piece a little bit longer. Okay, it's going to keep that front piece just a tad bit longer. What we're doing is called over-directing with this cut. So as we bring and over-direct the hair each row up, it's going to maintain the length. So over-direction keeps the length long. Okay, it maintains the length. If I pull it over-direct it back, let's say I had a bob, and I stretch the hair as I'm cutting, I'm dragging the hair over-directing it towards the back, towards this length, making sure that excess hair from here does not go longer, so it'll blend, but I still want to keep my sides long. Okay, so if I bring it back this way, when I comb it down, my front is going to be longer, so it will maintain length. You're usually going to get like some type of angle. Sometimes you'll get an angle, not all the time. If I'm going from short to long, I'll get an angle. But if it's the same length, I'm not going to get that angle. Okay, so this piece right here, I said I'm cutting mine to 6 inches here. Okay, I'm cutting to my second knuckle. I'm going to drop that out. I'm going to pick up some more hair. My guide is here, okay? I'm just going to peep and double check and make sure I'm not doing the most. I like to just kind of peep and check to make sure my fingers are correct. I'm going to cut straight across. Cut to my second knuckle, drop some of it out. I'm going to finish this off. And you see how I'm moving along the head, kind of spreading the hair out as I cut, based on where I'm cutting from. Now I move to a different area. And this is straight up for this part of the head. Okay. Let me readjust my fingers because I came a little bit too high. Okay. That's my 90 degree. Okay. Then I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to go in the center. And I'm going to split this in half. I have my guide for the right side. I have my guide for the left side now. I'm going to start on this right side with this cut. Okay. Now, this is the area I'm going to work with now. I have a guide here. I'm going to come 1 inch below that area, okay? For you guys, I want y'all to come half an inch. Okay, I'm going to come half an inch below that horizontal part. And I'm going to split this in half. I'm going to comb this right to my part. I don't want to drag it here. I don't want to pull it back towards me when I do this. I want to drag it straight up at that 90 from this part right here. Everything, and then the rest of this hair is going to be what we call a 180, but I want this to come straight up. And every time I gather hair and add it to it, my body needs to be in that same position, okay? I can see my guide here. Okay, then I'm going to pick up some more hair over here. I have a guide everywhere, a guide here and a guide behind it. Okay, now I'm going to go below that, half an inch, and gather some more hair, make another horizontal part.
So you're just taking half an inch every time till you get down?
Yep, till I get down to the bottom, and there's nothing else to cut. And preferably I would be standing here, but since for demonstration purposes, I'm going to stand on this side. Okay. See how you can see the guide? Okay. Okay, I can see my guide. I'll go below it. Take another half inch. Gather the hair to control it. bring it right back to that spot. No leaning, no tilting, no pulling back.
And you're grabbing all the hair?
All of it. So I keep pulling because my guide is the inside. So I gotta keep coming back as if it was blunt. It's just like a reverse blunt cut, okay? So you know how I kept pushing hands towards the neck? This is what you wanna keep pulling it towards the part, okay? You see I don't have a lot to cut, right? Got a little spriggly little piece of hair right now. Small little amount. And I doubt I have anything now that's going to reach. Ooh, Lord, all that noise. Distracted.
You can get it done quick.
Yep, it's gonna be a pretty quick cut because it's basically all the same thing. I'll get it up to you. Okay, so that's all I can cut for that area. Now, when I get ready to kind of look at my work, this is one cut where we don't do this. You don't home it like this. You shake this up. You want to begin to see your layers and see your work. So I want to loosen my work up so that I can start seeing kind of the hair breaking up a little bit and kind of see what I'm creating. Okay, so as you can see now it went from everything going length to now having some soft layers happening in this cut. Okay, so as you're working, don't calm down and just look and keep thinking about the ends. Loosen it up and start looking at your layers. She got a little something going on, nothing major, just a little something. Alright, so when you guys, after you guys take your break, when y'all come back, I want everybody to go ahead and do your center part, and I want you to do one side, and then I'll be walking around checking for you guys, okay? After completing your right side, then we're going to go to the left side and do the same exact thing. So we cut here, and then we're cutting here. guide. I'm actually gonna have to turn this way so y'all can see the guide. There's the guide. so this is for the first section. We will pick back up for the back. Okay. So now we're going to wrap up. We did both of the sides. Okay, this is kind of the shape I'm getting for my front. Okay, and now I'm going to turn around towards the back. So both of these sections have been completed. I'm going to dampen her up a little bit. Clarissa, can you hold me that water bottle? Thank you, ma'am. So back here you see we have 3 sections. This first area section I'm going to use is going to drop to about right here. So it's going to be the whole crown area right in here. So I want to take out, I'm going to do my first part about to right there. Okay, right in this little area right here. I'm going to start in my center. And the hair that I'm going to use, I'm going to come up a little bit and gather some of this hair that I just cut. Okay? Y'all peep this? I'm gathering some of the hair from the front that I just cut, okay?
Is that from the middle or the side?
It's from both, a little bit of both, to be honest. I hope all goes good when I come in here for the section, though. Yes, it is. So I'm going to take a little less because you guys can't really see my guide. So I'm not going to go as deep as I tried. So y'all are going to do the same thing. Don't go as thick as I was suggesting. And guys, y'all, here's my guide right here. You really can't see it. You can go, if you can't see, you can get you a little bit more hair. So when I cut, I don't clip away my work, okay? I don't clip away because I like to go and gather some of the previously cut hair and make sure that it's blended as I hit my curves. So I like to just have access to that hair after it's being cut. When I'm grabbing my next group of hair, like I said, I like to add just a little bit just so that I can make sure that there's no hair overlapping and that everything blends well. All right. Okay, so a little bit. Okay, I'm going to turn her around a little bit. So y'all might can see a little bit of my guide. So there's my guide right there, okay? Okay? And I just brought that straight up. So now I'm going to continue to do the same thing that I did earlier. And my guide is in front of me, that's why y'all can't see it. So Clarissa, what I was talking about, I'll let it be about this high. Place my shears right here, open and close them, let them do their job. So I'm not trying to indent or curve with my finger. Now I want to show y'all something. I want to cross check on this one, okay? Because I didn't cross check the other way. So it look kind of strange. Not strange, I shouldn't say that. It's going to look like this, like a dip. Like it's going from short to long. Almost nothing for me to cut at this point. Just a little few hairs. Nothing at all. I know this isn't gonna reach up here. Okay, no, it's not gonna reach up here. Now, because I only cut a little bit of this, I'm gonna come about halfway so y'all can see what I mean, okay? If I bring this hair up, you see how it kind of slightly curves like this? Let me to my side so I might get a better image of what I'm talking about. So if I'm cross-checking my side, come on, don't you fall on me. When I come, if I'm holding the hair vertically, when I bring it up, you see how it kind of tilts like this? Okay, so that's what you're gonna get, more of an angle if you try to cross-check. We combed it this way, horizontally, like a hamburger. You can cross-check vertically, like a hot dog, but when you cross-check, it's gonna dip like this. Okay, that makes sense? So when I bring everything up and I look at my corners, it's gonna dip like this, okay? Her hair isn't long enough, but if it was longer, you would really see more dramatic. Y'all, is not gonna be as dramatic either because the bottom doesn't really reach all the way to the top. But that's what you get if you're trying to cross-check your work. You should see, we're combing it this way, cross-checking, skinny, and it's gonna look like a slight angle. So with this one, we're parting like a blunt cut, how we were doing the horizontal sections. This way, cross-check, and you need some more. Make a clean line. I'm not just going to grab a section like this. I'm going to go from top to bottom, vertically, in order to be able to really see the results. If I can't just grab a little small section right here. I want to grab this area from top to bottom. Water is for control. When the hair starts flying all over the place and you really can't get a hold of it, it just means we need more water. And if the bottom did reach the top, you kind of see how it's doing this right here. That's what you're going to get, a slight angle. Okay? All right. So once we finish doing that back section, I did this area. I'm going to go ahead and drop this guy out. Now I'm going to take this whole area that I just had, okay? Because usually this thing is done, actually I'm going to split it in half. Usually this is done in two sections back here. So I'm going to split that guy, okay? And I'm going to come and make a triangle. And I'm only going to have a guide like on this right side over here. Okay. So I can see part of the guide there. I have to finish it off on this side over here, okay? That's my guide. I'm going to come in here and just bring it straight up. So y'all can see. And I'm going to come here and get this next area. I'm going to bring it straight up. Continue to grab some more hair down here. Come up. And now I know, I'm just gonna show you, I can tell this is not gonna reach all the way up, okay? It's not gonna reach but right here, okay? So I can go ahead and stop. And then I'm gonna work my way over to this other side. And move this out the way, just a little bit. I'm really not trying to get my side in there. I just wanted that peak right here at the top to make sure that was there. And just kind of recenter my little part back here that I did around the center. Because my guide is like right up in here. And this is the area that I'm going to be working with. So as you guys can see, there's my guide there. And I'm just going to flatten this out and cut over to the side over here. Alright, yeah, have to let me cut. A lot of times with people who are finished cutting that lob where it's longer, that bob that kind of hangs slightly below the shoulders, and they'll follow it with a 180. So they'll do a lob and they might go in and do a little interior cutting, and they'll do basically like a 180, taking it straight up, just to break it up, not to change it into a layered bob or anything, but just to kind of, when you go in, it'll take some of that weight off the bob. So it still will kind of still keep that same shape of the lob. You might have a little feathering, a little softness around the face with this doing it the 180 versus changing it to like a graduated 45 where it's like really layered back here. So it'll still keep the integrity of like the one length shape, but it'll give you a little bit of like texture on like an inside texture. And like I said, if you start to go in and put your curls in, it'll hold a little bit better for that client. So y'all see I can't talk and chew gum at the same time. I'm cutting strings now. So y'all know I would be here. In real life, this is where I would stand. Okay. So for demonstration purposes, here I am, cutting behind the hair. Alright, she's not going to reach, and just see anyway. And of course, this is not going to reach, okay? On the wobble brush today. can kind of see more of our shape. Want to toss this up a little so we can start seeing the work break up a little bit so we can see our legs. So she was a bob. This is the client I cut off, well not a bob, she was one length, okay? This cut allowed me to get into some of that interior part that we really couldn't cut yet. And so it's still going to have the shape of the bob, but I do have some layering going on there. Okay, so a little bit to frame my client's face. And work with these little loose curls she has. Alright, so with that being said, this is the finished look for the length that I have for my 180 and the amount of hair that I took off based on her shortest layer that was like right down here. So you see even with her wave pattern, how it's going to shrink up. Stuff up for us to think about. In a dry state, is this where my client really wanted her hair to be? Or did she want it in the dry state right down here? You understand what I'm saying? So that's that consultation. But you're going to be cute when you get styled. Alright, so guys, so y'all are going to go ahead and finish up, starting that back center section. Work your way up. Like I said, it can be done in 2 sections. We're just doing the most for the least today.
You gotta finish